When Margaret Chase was a little girl, no one would have thought to ask what she wanted to be when she grew up. In those days, it didn't much matter what a girl wanted to be, because there were very real limits on what she could be. She was supposed to get married to a man and be a mother. And if she had to work outside the home to make money, there were very few jobs for which she would be hired. Maybe a maid, or a teacher, or a waitress, or a store clerk. Women weren't expected to be much else, and more than that, they weren't supposed to want much else. Women weren't expected to have ambition, goals or dreams that they could work hard to make happen. But from the start, Margaret had ambition. She wanted to build her own future in her own way. Margaret was born on December 14, 1897, and grew up in the mill town of Skowhegan, Maine, a largely white community where many people worked in the factories along the Kennebec River. Her father was a barber, and her mother was a waitress and a store clerk, and washed other people's laundry. Her family worked hard for everything they had, which included a horse, a pig, a cow, and some chickens. They grew vegetables in their garden and had window boxes filled with flowers in the spring. The oldest of 6 kids, Margaret became her mother's partner in taking care of the house and the other children. Margaret didn't mind. She loved and admired her mother, and she loved to work, especially once she figured out that hard work was the key to a different kind of future. "I went to work because I wanted to be independent," she said. "I wanted to spend my own money as I wanted to. And I did. That is exactly what I did." When Margaret was 12, she tried to get a job at a small store in town, but she couldn't reach the merchandise on the high shelf behind the counter. The shop owner joked that she should apply for the job later, when she was taller. But it wasn't a joke to Margaret. She was serious about working there. And once she was 13 years old, she finally was tall enough to reach the top shelf, standing on her tippy toes. She got the job. It was the first of many jobs Margaret would have. She was a quick learner and a hard worker, and always impressed her bosses. While she was in high school, she got her second job as a telephone operator. In the early 1900s, long before anyone had a cell phone, few people even had telephones in their homes, but those who did couldn't call each other directly. To reach someone by telephone, callers would first have to phone a switchboard operator. The operator would then connect callers to whomever they wanted to talk to. For this job, Margaret had to memorize the telephone directory and learn the technical skills to connect the calls, chatting with the callers all the while. The work put her at the center of what was happening in town and showed her how the people in her community were linked to one another. She also found she could be a helper, connecting people to doctors, firefighters, and police officers during emergencies.